So, my friends, we are in a kind of unprecedented time. We're in the fourth week of Lent. We've never had a Lent like this. Um, but we do know that, as we've heard in our Gospels from the last 3 Sundays, Nicodemus, we know from the story of Nicodemus who came to Jesus at night asking who he was. And Jesus said, well, I'm the Christ, sent by God into the world, not to condemn the world, but to redeem it, to redeem all of creation. The last week we heard the story of the woman from Samaria who was at the well getting water. Jesus was very thirsty because he'd been walking all day and asked for a drink of water. And she gave it to him, and he in turn gave her living water of God's mercy and grace and love that flows continuously for all those who desire it. And now we have this story today of the man born blind who receives his sight. Now, of course, in the Gospel of John, everything has many layers of meaning, at least. And so we can understand maybe physical sight, but even more, he received spiritual sight, the spiritual sight of trust in God. It's interesting that everyone else is looking for somebody to blame and looking to make sense out of this. The man himself doesn't really care who's to blame. And he doesn't even really care that much how this happened. But what he knows and cares about is that it did happen. He does have this sight. He has sight. He has trust and faith and thanksgiving, because that's what he does. He just praises God that I was blind and now I see. And I think that's what all of these stories in Lent have been leading us towards, is this act of thanksgiving, to live our lives in thanksgiving and praise. We have a lot to be thankful for. We might not have everything that we want, but we have pretty much what we need. We can give thanks that we're a resourceful and creative people. And we can give thanks for our church, that we belong to a community that, while we might not all be fervent believers, we show up for one another. And we can give thanks above and beyond everything else for the God who is for us and with us and within us. I'd like to thank Eric and Lily for the beauty of their music. They earlier we heard them sing the 23rd Psalm, and I'd like to leave you with the words of the 23rd Psalm from King James. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.